Hi Taurus, and welcome to your January 2019 reading. My name is Camille and you are watching Millennial Tarot. Before we get into the cards, I wanted to give my two shout outs, the first of which is that I'm doing $5 readings up until the end of the year. As long as you get your request in, I'll leave my email below. By like 11:59 on December 31st, you can lock in that $5 deal. After that, they just go back up to $10 a question in the new year. My second announcement is that I have launched my website, starsandskin.com. I will also leave that link below. On there, you can find out more about me, get in touch with me for tarot readings that way, as well as read some of my astrological writings. But the biggest thing with that website is that I did launch an apparel line. So you can buy these really, really cute t-shirts, and what they are the constellations. This is the Aquarius constellation, superimposed onto a natal chart wheel, like a birth chart wheel, and some celestial designs in the background, super minimalist. And then underneath that is going to be the actual typeface with your sign on them. They're t-shirts. They come in black and white. They are super soft. $20. I will leave that below if you want to gift yourself that in the new year or as a belated Christmas gift. That is that. So I'm going to get into your cards and see what is coming up for you Tauruses in the month of January. Welcome to the new year. One more time. All right. Very similar to Aries. I'm going to shuffle. You guys are starting off this year with a bevy of communication, with a lot of information about some people in your life. Some things and behaviors in your life that need to be let go of or that need to be judged. And judged, not harshly, but with a discerning eye. Love it. So you came up in the reading. I love this. Beautiful. We're coming into the reading with the Page of Swords. And then we move here into the Two of Swords. And then we have this outcome position of the Judgment card, clarified by you. This is the Hierophant. That is Major Arcana Taurus. And then we have this bottom of the deck as the Nine of Cups. So what I see here for Tauruses is similar to what was going on with Aries, is that there are situations and peoples and problems and just areas of your life that really need an overhaul. And for some people, it's actual people, it's actual relationships. For some, it's getting out of a job or getting into a job. For others, it's how you're choosing to think, it's how you're choosing to project, so then it becomes a more spiritual mission. But starting off this year and beginning this reading with this Page of Swords is that there is a message coming in. There is going to be some insight coming in. There's going to be communication coming in, and from someone who you need it to come from. We have the Page of Swords surrounded by these two cards, rather of mystery and of confusion and these heavy themes of letting go and reviewing stuff. So this Page of Swords is really coming in to usher in this January with how are you going to make decisions and look upon the people in your life with a more discerning eye. What stays, what goes, who's allowed to be in your energy space, who is not, who is cluttering up your life, who is not, and who deserves to say, the ways in which you're cluttering up your life, the ways in which your choices are cluttering up your life. So this Page of Swords really comes in and wants to cut through all that. It cuts through things, cutting people off, cutting things off, cutting behaviors off. And through that cutting, through that clarity, that is when new information comes in. For some of you, you could be hearing news from a person that you haven't heard from. You can be hearing news from a job that you applied for, hearing news about things that you've been starting, and this news is going to show you how those things are going to continue with momentum. For some of you, you could be hearing something about someone that is going to be clearing things up. This could be, things happening to you or things happening to people close to you. You could be getting information about children in your life. Pages always represent more adolescent, childlike energy, but you're starting off this year strong, and I love his position with his confidence. You're starting off this year with this authority of truth and this authority of information, and really knowing that the decisions that you make, the people that you talk with, that just how you choose to be and commune with people is going to be coming out of this place of authenticity. Now, whether that just comes from your own inner knowing, from having gone through things in the last year, where now you're like, oh, hey, listen, it's my turn, this is what I think, these are the words, and that's it. Or whether it's coming from this place of, oh, you found out something, or oh, something finally makes sense now, or oh, this person finally comes in to talk to you. And then we have this little dip here into the Two of Swords. Now, the Page of Swords in this reading, it's really coming in as this powerful type of energy. It's really coming in as this lightning bolt type of Uranian energy, where you find out something, you get a sudden insight, and it's going to inform your decision. So whatever you find out about a person, about a job, about a place, whatever, that information is going to ask you to make a decision. And that decision could be, does it stay or does it go? Or are you going to continue, or are you going to not? And so that's where we end off here with this Two of Swords. The Two of Swords is this woman who is having to choose between two things, two literal people, two literal jobs, two literal avenues to walk down, or two sides of self. Am I going to be this person? Am I going to be that person? Am I going to move from this phase of life into this phase of life? We're dealing with some type of polarity. Am I going to be this, or am I going to be that? And the choices seem a little bit opposing. And she's kind of under this illusion that, oh my God, this choice is going to be really hard to make. But the Two of Swords is funny in that all she has to do is put down her swords and take off her blindfold, and she would see where everything lies. And you know you have that power within you, because we're starting off the year strong with this Page of Swords, with this, I'm telling the truth, I'm cutting you off, I'm going to start this intellectual endeavor. It could be also just starting a new job, starting a new type of passion with our mind and our intellect, and how we feel mentally stimulated in these ways. And then you dip down into this Two of Swords, where you're like, am I really supposed to be doing this? Is that really how it's supposed to go? Or what if I entertain this? Or what if I entertain that? And this is really annoying for Taurus type of people. I'm a Taurus moon. Options are annoying. I like to move forward and have a solid track and keep plodding at it slowly and slowly every day. I don't like to be in this position, and you might not either, where you're having to choose and it's constant analysis and you're having to draw up lists about why and why this, and you're just constantly thinking. The power in the Swords card, which is truly shown here, is that we can empower ourselves through our thoughts, or we can disempower ourselves through our thoughts. And we have this in you already, this Page of Swords. We have this competency in you already to really have faith in your decisions and to make authentic decisions that are coming from this place of power. So you have that within you, and then you kind of dip into this place where you're second-guessing your power, you're second-guessing your choices. Maybe you made up your mind on someone or something, and then in January you're like, okay, but really, you're doing the most. It's too much. And the power with swords cards, before I cut my own self off when I was explaining this, is that they're how we think, they're how we project, and you have it within you, the power to choose how you're thinking and therefore how you are projecting. So these Two of Swords, this choice that you're having to make, this dichotomy, this or that, or just this inner rumbling of, I'm not settled, that is something that could be easily figured out just by taking off your blindfold, pretending that you don't know what the choice is going to be, blinding your own self. It's a very disempowering place to be, especially when we start off here with this clarity of thought, this clarity of mental momentum. So put the swords down, make the choice. You already know what the choice is going to be. Everyone has within them this quiet wisdom that's like, you should probably do that. And then you kind of just override that, blindfold yourself, hold up the swords, pretend you have to make a choice, and put yourself through this agony. So we're really going through this place in January where you are going to be challenged. Are you going to trust yourself? Are you going to make that decision? The decision could be very well to let something or something go, to review a past behavior. The Judgment card represents an ending to a very large phase in your life. We have the double axe to 20. 10s always represent this is the end of a phase, the end of a goal, the end of a chapter. And with the Judgment card, it is things and people and situations and behaviors, fill in the blank, coming up to be reviewed. Are they going to receive the final judgment, or are you going to just ignore that, bury them away, and carry that cosmic and psychic weight, or that emotional weight of these things that truly need to be reviewed and just really let go of? And you can make those decisions when you're in this place, when you're in this place of empowerment. This page is an adolescent sprite type of energy. You will have the momentum and the drive to really mull over these things? Or are you going to make this decision from this point of view where you're like, oh, I don't know, I'm kind of blind. If I do this, okay, what if I do that, you know? So really dealer's choice here about what type of swords character you are going to enact. And the invitation for you in January is you started off with this lightning bolt of clarity, of thought, of character, and then you kind of doubt yourself. And so the challenge here is to stop doing that. And we have you coming into the reading, the Hierophant. The Hierophant clarifying this judgment card. So 2 major arcanas, bam, bam, back to back. Now, how I want to read the Hierophant was impulsively that you are showing up in your reading. So as you go through this decision-making process, as you rumble with the things that need to be cut away and the things that perhaps you've cut away and that need to be brought back in, it could also be that opposite type of motion. The Hierophant kind of shows you, as you make these decisions, as you really have faith and trust in your power, you are returning to yourself. When you show up in your reading, in the outcome, after all these decisions and information and communications and blah, 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 has to be done, you are reaching a place of, oh, I am myself again. And who is Taurus? Peaceful. We don't deal with all this stuff. We don't deal with all this. We're peaceful. We're serene. We beautify life. We are steady. We are loyal. We are peaceful, calm bulls. And here in this place of rumbling and having to figure out, you do want to know that what you have awaiting you after that is a firmer sense of self, a firmer sense of who you are, a returning back to yourself. Now, the Hierophant also is coming up to say, hush, time to make a decision. He's making a benediction. He is who we turn to for structure and for order. Out from all this mental air chaos, you know, air and earth signs are inconjunct. They are not incompatible in that they can't get along, but they represent 2 sides of the spectrum. You know, air is all the way up here in the head all the time, and earth is solid. Feel it. Can I go with my gut on this? I'm not thinking. I'm just going to go with my physical earthbound gut. And so when we have this juxtaposition of air returning back into earth, this Hierophant does represent, oh, this is the way things are always done. This is the way I prefer to do it. Now that I have these decisions out of my way, I had to do all this mental stuff. I can be firm. You know, he represents ceremonies, ceremonial things, religious things, things that are tried and true and things that have always been done. So once you clear whatever needs to be cleared up with this judgment card, the decisions, the news that comes out, the communication you need to have, what you will find is that in January, you're returning back to your status quo. And what is more, and that's good for Taurus. This is not like, oh, status quo, you need to change, because we're dealing with that already. We need to return back to ourselves in order to be the highest expression of our Tauran selves. And your bottom of the deck very beautifully here is really kind of Taurian in that we have some indulgence. We have some optimism that this is a wishes fulfilled card. This is, oh, my cup runneth over, so now I can share with other people. I can be enlivened. I can be, you know, enjoying my material creature comforts and indulging with my friends and family, all because I feel more like myself again. It's almost like these are kind of the same guy. Just in pictures, they kind of look the same. You know, he does run the risk of overindulgence. So don't kind of get to this point where you're congratulating yourself for getting through this hard time by doing too much, eating too much, overextending yourself, spending too much money, just doing the most and kind of tipping over into that Venus type of indulgence where you kind of lose yourself in the material world. We don't want that, but we do want the contentment. We do want the rest. We do want this earth-water energy, which is far more compatible than earth-air energy, where you are being fed now because of the emotional status or the emotional peak that you have been able to ascertain through truly learning how to make decisions, having faith in your decisions, having faith and confidence in how you were speaking, how you were becoming, and the news that you get from others and messages and all that stuff. And really being able to arrive at this place of rest and being able to arrive at this place of true nourishment. So when that sets off your January, it ends up being what sets off your year. And how your year is being set off is like, yeah, I need to do this, cut this person out. I need to really tend to my garden. Let's use a Taurus garden analogy. Oh, I thought those roses would bloom, but they actually became weeds and they're kind of threatening my other things. Tend to the garden. It's annoying. You might get pricked. You have to get down in the dirt. You have to maybe kill off some things and get rid of some things and make some decisions about what's going to stay and what's going to help or what you need to bring in. But once you have that, and you have your fertile soil, and you have all the seeds that you want to plant, and all the beautiful flowers and vines, and the bees and the birds are coming to visit your beautiful garden, that is when you're truly in this place of returning to yourself and feeling nourished. And from that, you nourish others, and the world nourishes you. So a lot can grow from here. A lot of abundance can grow from here. Just don't unsteady yourself by pretending like you don't know the decision to make, or pretending like you're not as empowered as you are. You know where to go. You know who's allowed to stay. You know what you want. Go get it. All right, Taurus, this has been my reading for you. Of course, if it has resonated, or even if it has not resonated and you want something more in tune with what is going on with you specifically, do hit me up for that personal reading. Just $5 until the end of the year, and then back up to $10 in the new year. But until then, I will see you in February. Be well, enjoy, Happy New Year. Bye.